afternoon. Again, welcome to the Together We Heal forum organized by the Central Texas African American Family Support Conference and Integral Care, which is the local area mental health service provider for Travis County. The conference vision is to educate about the African American community on mental health, substance use disorder, and intellectual and developmental disabilities and total well-being of African Americans. We really hope that this forum will provide you an opportunity to participate in this conversation that offers education, encouragement, and resources to thrive. My name is Sonia Hosey. I'm Minister Sonia Hosey, and I am so happy that Lucy Bona, and I will introduce her through the bio, that she is a member of the Iron Sharpen Iron for My Sisters, and I've had the opportunity to work with her. But I am here to help to facilitate this conversation on mental health in the Sudanese immigrant community. A powerful conversation. I mean, it's an exceptional conversation that we're going to have with Apostle Lucy Bona. First, I want to give you some housekeeping rules. Please mute yourself at all times. You will have an opportunity to come and ask questions during the question and answer session. There will be a time for interaction, and for that interaction, we would like for you to use or to raise your hand through the icons and unmute yourself so you can talk when you are called. Sometimes through these forums, we get very emotional. And so we just want to make sure that you take care of yourself, you give yourself self-care, and turn your video off so you can handle your emotions privately. Also note that the session will be recorded and is streaming live on Facebook. So give your wonderful smile so people can see you. I just want to say right now that it is such a pleasure to introduce today our guest speaker, which is Pastor Lucy Bona. Lucy Bona is a founder of the Broken Heart Healing and Restoration International Ministries. And again, I just want to say thank you again, Lucy, because I know that you have a powerful story. And so, again, we are now ready to start with this profound conversation. So, Apostle Lucy, can you tell us about the country of your birth? Tell us a little bit about where you come from and, a little bit about your country.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor Sonia and everyone, and Lady um, Rod. So I thank God for this afternoon and this evening. And I thank you for this beautiful opportunity to come here and share my heart. I'm original from South Sudan because we used to be Sudan together, but then the split come. Now we are two different nations. So we're from South, and I was born in 1967 in South Sudan. The city I was born in it is called Juba. That is the capital of South Sudan. So I raised and grew up in Juba. And I finished my educations. When I finished the high school, then I have to go to the north. That time we were still one. I went there for my education, higher education for nursing, and I studied nursing. And then after that, I went to a small college for women for teaching as well. I was a teacher, I was a nurse and everything. So I come from the family of 9. I am the 5th child in the family. My mom and dad have 3 girls and 5 boys. I lost 4 of my brothers in the war that we have in South Sudan. That's the reason that we are here in America, but I thank God for you inviting us here today. And I'm a mother of 4 and 1 girl, 3 boys. So, but I'm a single mother, blessed single mother, raised my children and they all went to college. One of them that don't want to go, but the other all went to college.
Wow, I mean, you've really talked about some things that I wouldn't be aware of, but again, thank you for sharing that Apostle Lucy. Can you tell us about your journey to the U.S., your family, your life, and what was your culture shock when you first got here?
Yeah, actually, my journey, I was never ever dreamed in my life that I want to come to United States. So I was in Khartoum. I used to be one of the writer for magazine called Who Here. That is a Christian magazine. It is called She and He and She. And they sent me a visa to go to Beirut. So I went to Beirut, and that's where I get married over there. So I went there. When I went there, the things are really not cooperating right. So it is not the way I think. So I just feel like I want to go back to Sudan, but finally somebody come to us that there is a American embassy. They was giving the immigration visa. Those the one they finish the school, they have education, they will be able to go if they pick them. And that's how I end up here. So everybody else went and apply, and I'm the last person of the 100 people. And when I apply, I even don't have desire, but my ex-husband at that time, my husband at that time, he he pushed me to go apply for it. And I'm the last person that they took my letter to send it to the airport. And everybody tell me, you're not gonna go because the days is already finished. Tomorrow is the last day for picking the lottery visa. I say, well, I don't care. I don't even want to come to America. I don't know how America look like. And then 6 months later, the letter come back to the church that I used to go to with my name. So nobody win that time. They only picked me. And then that's how I get to United States. When we come to United States, it's a long story, but I'm gonna make it short. Because I never have desire to come here. I even don't know how United States look like. I was thinking to go back home to South Sudan. Then we come here in New York, and we come to New York. We thought New York is the center, and that's it. This is America. I never know America was this kind of big. So we end up at the airport in New York, and only a couple hours, I feel like I need to go back to Sudan. I don't want to be here. I don't, because it's too big for me, and I was so kind of like scared. And then the other thing was that I don't know the language, the barrier of the language. I just feel like I want to go back home. So we have some people that we know them in different states. They come as a refugees, so we come to call them to pick us from airport. And when we call them, and some of them is in here in Texas, and some is in California. And when we tell them where we are, everybody say, "Oh my God, we can't come." So we said, "What's the problem? I thought you're in America." They said, "Well, we're in America, but you need another plane to come over here, or for us to come there. We can't pick you up." So we thought these people are just lying, and And then the other funny story was, in Sudan, especially in South Sudan, we really don't have, I don't want anybody to get offended, but this is the truth. We don't have people like a very big people and all that. We don't have that because of the culture, and people eat a lot of healthy food. Like we don't eat too many chemicals. We don't have the big body. I find this man, he was very tall. He's a security guy sitting, and I was so scared. I thought in my mind, this is a monster. So I was just, anytime we move around, I would change my location. I was so scared. And I just start crying for no reason because he don't even do anything to me. I'm just scared, just all the cold and fears and all this stuff until somebody come and get us. That morning we have to sleep over there because we don't know people. And then we have to make our way to come to Texas, 3 days driving to Texas because people we know is in Texas. We even don't know that Texas was that far. We thought it's something 45 minutes. It take us 3 days, days and night. It was just hard with my little son. It was only 1 year and a half, and it was very horrible coming to America. But it is kind of like hard, but then I get too used to it. Yeah.
When we talked before, you had talked a little bit about your culture shock when you moved to Hutto in Bastrop. Can you just share a little bit about that? You talked a little bit about New York, but share with us a little bit about Hutto and Bastrop in regards to the cultural shock.
Yeah. So when we first get to Austin, we would stay with a friend, and we don't know that the phone was very expensive to call to Africa. So and then the other thing that shocked me was And men in America, a lot of them, all they shave them hair. In Africa, when you shave your hair, that means your father or your mother died. So I was assuming that these people, all of their mother and their father died because the men, all them hair shaved out. So here is the style. So I started calling my mom. I don't like it here. I want to go back. In 1 week, I was just start calling and I'm crying and I want to go back. And I tell my mom, everybody in America, their father died. And she tell me, who tell you that? I said, well, I saw all of them hair cut off. So automatically people believe in our culture, when a man, they shave hair down, bald, that means your father dead or your mother died. So I don't have no clue is a style. And then the bill for the phone come, that time was a Southwestern Bell company. Our bill was like $1,700. And we don't know even where to get the money from. We are new immigration. We don't have a help from human services because we're supposed to find a job. We come with a lottery visa. And it's become hard. The community, we have 5 people used to live here. They help to pay that money. And later my ex-husband ended up paying them back. And that time I thought, America was all this beautiful. So I end up having friends, become to know people because of me doing hair. And I meet one of my best ever friends. She died, she went to heaven. She lived in Basra. So we went, she invited me to go to the house. And when I went to Basra, I was very shocked because the Basra doesn't look like the way they show us America in there that make us excited to come. And when I look at Basra and I say, so is this still America? They say, yes. I say, well, if I have to see these pictures before I come here, I will never come because it's just like Africa. So that give me the mind of there is a lot of different areas in America here, can just relate it to Africa. So I used to be in Romberg, so I moved to Haro because Haro looked more like Africa. When I first moved here, now I've been here like 22 years in this Haro area. So this area here, it looked like more country because there is a cows and there is goats, all this stuff. So I still attached to the culture. I want to stay somewhere where I can be very comfortable. I don't know about too many stuff. So we moved here in Haro, and then Haro started growing up. Now Haro is all grow up. But my thought was when they say America is all like New York, all the light and all this stuff. If I should see like they sent me the picture of Basra, maybe I would say, no, I don't want to come to America. So I'm kind of like become to understand in every country, there is some low areas and there are some very nice areas. Where we grow up in Africa and South Sudan, we grow up in city. We don't grow up in country. So when I go to country, I cry just like other kid because the country is just in the bushes, far away from the city. So that is a big different shock for me to be in here, that to find out there is some places just like Africa, but nobody speak my language over there and they all speak English. And I have a problem with learning, like I don't know language barrier. Every time Americans speak English, I feel emotionally, I cry, like I thought they're talking about me. I was just broken. It's just hard to come to a nation that you don't know the language and you have to start from crash and you don't have no relative here. And it's just hard. And then married an abusive man and it is just a long story. But I thought that I get to learn. And one day, funnier things that I went to take my test for driver license. I never read English in my life. I never went to school for English. This English I'm speaking, it was the Holy Spirit teach me how to speak. And then I started going to school, not to learn English, but I already know how to speak, but how to write and how to read. So I went to get my driver test. I went there, I read the whole book, they give it to me, but I never understand. And then they give me the test. I never passed the test for 6 times. And then the 7th time, they tell me to bring somebody that know my language to translate it to me. So I bring somebody and I do understand the sign and the stuff. And then I end up passing after 7 times. And they was very excited. All the police people there, they were so excited because I've been coming too long. I never pass and I speak, but I don't know what I am reading. So they kind of like surprised what is wrong with me. But finally, I passed my test, and then I have my the driver license. And those are the harder things that I have experienced. Driving in the road. For me, I never drove in Africa. I drove first time here. Some African nation they drive there, and especially in Sudan, when we was one at that time when I come here, it is hard for women actually to involve in some stuff because it's Islamic country. women actually don't drive car like that, but we thank God that finally they left up all these burdens and the people become free. But now for us as a South Sudanese, South Sudan is very good now. Everybody just live like here. You know, they have places, nice places. I went to Sudan in 2014, South Sudan. I took one of a friend in the ministry with me. When she went there, she cannot imagine what they say Africa look like. She said, "So where's Africa?" I said, "This is Africa." And she said, "Well, I thought there is some animal." I said, "The animal
Right.
was there. They're not here because we're in the city. So we have to go outside too far to look for animals. They're not here." So it was amazing. She started taking the pictures and sending the pictures of the hotel that we went to and the room. And she said, "I can't believe this is Africa." So it was amazing when you take somebody from here, they go to see the city and Africa look like it's different than where the other people go and take pictures and send the pictures here.
Right.
So if I have to see the picture of Basrab or Haro, maybe I will change my mind not coming to America. But then I come because I see the other nice pictures that I come and then see it.
Right, right.
Mm.
It's interesting that you said that because a lot of people have the wrong perception, about Africa. I mean, we have this certain image, but as you stated, the person that you took with you, I mean, saw a whole different perspective about Africa, and
That's
yeah, yes, I mean that's kind of funny. I mean, in a sense, because it's like we have this certain perception. Um,
mhm.
so let me ask you this. I mean, when we talk about the mental health in Sudan, help us to understand about mental health, substance use disorder, and intellectual and developmental disabilities. Um, Help us to see a picture of the cultural perspective for us. I mean, because we address here in the United States, we understand about the mental health. We have an understanding about the substance use disorder and intellectual developmental disabilities. But help us to get a picture of the cultural perspective for us in regards to the mental health in Sudan.
Oh, yes. In South Sudan, particularly, even in Sudan, we don't have those kind of mental health issues. We don't have that. Um, Even in the hospital in South Sudan, we really don't have like you see like people mentally have a hospital where they put a place for them. We don't have that in South Sudan one long time ago.
Mm,
So people, you will see them, they have some issue, but people will never imagine that's their mental health. They just think like, okay, something is just wrong with them, but they don't take it as serious as here, where
mm,
they have to discover or they have to have awareness. Okay, this person maybe need help, and many people they end up with this mental health. They grow up in it, and they never know that they have a mental health. And a lot of the people, like when people some tribes, when you have the baby and they're not kind of like the baby that was premature, something happened to, or the baby that have some issue, maybe they have done leg or eye or something like that, they kind of like think it is like taboo, so the people would not like
mm,
that baby, and they kind of like a disabled baby. When you have it, it's kind of like hard for them to understand. Some people think is the family maybe make a mistake or father make a mistake, and me coming to United States here, it is a completely different thing with the mental health. I even don't know there is something called mental health. So until happened to me in my own family and my child. So when it happened, it opened my eye to see behind major, even my relationship with the father. I come to find out this man, it could be mental health. It's just not discovered because normal person cannot do such a thing. So
mhm,
having my child here in Austin in Breckenridge Hospital, I'm pregnant and have the child normal. And when the 2 years come, and then I become to take my child to daycare, and always the lady, the teacher will tell me that your son always don't want to play. He will sit around by himself. He don't want to come around the people. And I just thought that he's just a child because he just don't know. And then 3 years come later, his behavior continue changing, is not
mhm,
cooperating like other people. Find him crying
mhm,
for no reason. And sometimes, in Africa, when child cry, we just call him cry baby. Nothing is wrong
mhm.
with him. So we keeping
Right.
ignoring him. And then when he become 4 years, this thing, it continue increase. And now from daycare and then until now, he has to be transferred to go to pre-care. And when he went to pre-care at the school, the teacher was always complaining to me that this child, he will be quiet, everybody will be laughing and happy, but he's always quiet. And then he will end up doing some weird stuff, taking scissors, cutting his stuff. And then we'll bring him at home and we whoop him. We thought that he's just a child, that he's not listening. He just tried to be a bad kid. And then when he become 5 and 6, the problem become to increase. So the first grade, the teacher become very nice to me. He said, you know what, you may have to check with a doctor. I said, so what is wrong? He's not sick. Why checking doctor for? So first they say my child have ADD. And then we even don't know what is this ADD. I don't have no clue. They try to explain it to us. We don't understand. When they give him medicine and that medicine does not work. And then after they say, oh, could be is a ADHD. So, okay, they try that medicine again and doesn't work. We still don't understand what is this mean. We don't understand. So, and then the situation become worse, and where he can sit in the classroom, he can absorb the teaching of the teacher. So his father was thinking that because we moved to Hado, it's all Black people, and there is no a lot, all white people, there is no Black. He's the only white Black in the class. That means these people are racist. They don't like us. Maybe we have to just take him to another school. And I said, we don't have any school. There already one elementary school here where we move here, a small city. And the problem is start growing, but he don't believe in this. So the principal is start talking to us, this boy, he may need to go to higher level with the doctor because something is wrong with him. And then he will come home when he's 6, he will cry because he'll feel like he's not observing like other kids, and he get frustrated. And when he got frustrated, he can't do his homework, he throw his papers, he get very angry because of the condition where he is. And he bring broken emotion to us. And a lot of time we never understand. We're still whooping him. We're still whooping the child. His father will whoop him, put him in timeout, take all his toys, and it doesn't change him. So, and then they recommend us to go to another doctor. That time Dell Hospital was not here yet. So we went to that doctor, and that doctor sent us, we went from like 14 doctors, I still have the papers. And every doctor tell us that they don't know what is wrong with him. And finally they find out that, okay, he has some issue. They sent us to what is called the Shoal Creek Hospital. They put him there for 2 weeks to diagnose, to see what is the problem. And they give him a room by himself. And he liked to be by himself, cutting his stuff, burning his stuff, doing very stuff that can harm him. And then they got to find out, they say, okay, this child is bipolar. I don't understand, don't know what is bipolar mean, and all this kind of stuff is become a problem for us because we don't understand what is this bipolar and how we can actually help with this bipolar. So the school principal, and when they know that my son have a bipolar, so they become to encourage us that it's better for him to be in the medicine so he can be sitting in the classroom and it's going to be okay. That can calm him down to observe the teaching. And some people telling us, oh no, Lucy, don't let him do that. Here in America, people give them this medicine and they make them crazy. You know, they're not gonna be good. So it's become unbalanced situation. I really don't know what to do. And on the other hand, his father want to take him to Africa. And then in the house, there is never been peace now, because every little thing he's going to do something very terrible. Police have to be called. He has to run from the house, hurting himself. It is just very dangerous. Now I give all my attention to him. My daughter is only 3 years old. She's not sick, but she become to acting like him because she want that attention. So it's become very big problem. And finally, the principal called the meeting with the state and the people at the school and the nurse to come and sit down and to speak to us and explain exactly what is bipolar mean. So they come and they bring the people from Blue Bonnet and they sit with us. They become to explain to us what is bipolar, and this stuff is a medical, convulsion in the time of birth maybe. So that's why this medicine will help him and all that. His father refused for him not to take the medicine. And when the father refused to take the medicine, I continually pressing in. If the medicine is going to help my son, then I want him to take that medicine because I need help for him, because there is no other thing that I can do. So he's pressing to take my son back home. So it's become a major problem. We went to that meeting 3 times with the states.
Mm,
The people come to the school and they tell us this is what is going to happen, or they're going to find a special school to put him in it if we have money. So to send him in that special school, we don't have that money. And they tell us to send him to Austin State Hospital. We send him there. Only 2 weeks, almost my son died. He took the shoe tied, he tied his neck when the nurse was sleeping. And when the principal have knowing that this happened to my son, she requests for my son to come back home. And they try a lot and they help us very much. And they hired a teacher to come at the house and never help. And then he become to choose, he don't want a woman teacher, he want a man teacher. They find another male teacher from the school where he was studying bipolar. So he has to come to the house. And suddenly the boy have to go overseas to do his study. It become a problem. So they call another meeting. That's what the brokenness have come to my house. So the other meeting that they call, they what is called the director of the mental health for the state of Texas. He has to come and to address this issue with us and to let us know. I believe his name that time. He's very nice person and very nice to my family. He come even at home and sit with us and just try to figure how to send the message of this child really need help. And his father in front of this 12 meeting people, and he kind of like, okay, he's not gonna let his son taking the medicine. He don't believe in this. And some people are telling him, oh, they're making money over these children and all this stuff. And he become to argue with them, and he tried to sue the principal because he think that these people just racist, they don't like us. It become a big problem. So, and they asked me that, so since he's doing that, what I think? I said, well, I want my son to take the medicine. And then he looked at me, he said, well, if you're going to agree with these people for my son to take the medicine, then I am going to divorce you. And I just tell him, I say, you know what? I better find a help for my son. You can go and divorce me altogether, but I am not gonna let my son suffer like this. We're tired of him suffering. So he left in the midst of the meeting, he left me over there. So the principal and everybody, they come and hug me. They say, are you okay? I say, yeah, I'm okay, because I'm tired of seeing my son. He can't sleep at night. You know, he's struggling. He's a little kid, 7 years old, and throwing himself, cutting himself, and just crying for no reason. Try to be like other people. I take days from work to sit in the classroom to see how I can help him. There is nothing I can do. So finally they agree, and they end up requesting to send him to a private school, where out of the Austin here, like in the place called Newman, Texas, where they need money. Is a private, where they have the doctors, they have the nurse, they have everybody there. So where the school will send the lesson that he's studying here to them, for them to give it to him so they can watch after him, because in the house I can control him. He run at night, we have to call the police. We have a blue bonnet enter, and the blue bonnet become to help when they agree with the medicine. They started with blue bonnet become to give the medicine. And when the blue bonnet giving the medicine has become a big problem, the doctors in blue bonnet cannot actually, handle him in the age of 7. When our appointment come, he's coming, they have to put all the security, have to stand at the door to help this little boy to get into the office with the doctor, and security have to be there. 4 or 5 men have to hold him. The police, even in Hado, the whole police in Hado have to come to the school because of this little boy, because it's become very dangerous. So finally, they have to give him a strong medicine to calm him down. And then he become down, but it's not helpful. So they decide to take him away because it's going to be a problem for the other kid. He may hurt other kid or himself. So I agree. Those Dr. Lewis have to go with us, everybody. So they assign the money from Hado School District. They have to go ahead and release the money concerning my son. And even they say this is the first time for the Williamson to give money for a child have an issue like that. So I believe they assigned big money to send him to that school. And then we all drive together, the principal and everybody went there. So I supposed to go there once a month, but because people start telling me, our people don't agree with this kind of thing, and the culture become a very a big issue. Some people don't like you, and they feel like they talk about you, and you emotionally you don't have nobody here, and they say, oh, look at her, take her son and give it to these people. Oh, in America here, the foster kid, they take. So it's kind of so many stuff. I even don't know at that time what is the foster kid mean. And he was not a foster kid. He just have to be in that place. So I decided to allow him be there, but it was very broken for me, where I become very depressed. And this depression lead me to actually start taking the medication for blood pressure become very high. When I don't have rest in the house, they will send a lady from Blue Bonnet will come and help me in the house. She will sit with my son until I go sleep sometime at daytime. I was single, have to work, have to pay the bills, don't know barrier of English better. It's just kind of like a very hard problem for me. And then so finally they put him over there. And then even when they put him over there, the other kid have a peace, but I don't have a peace as a mother, because this is my first time and my child have to be completely out of the house, and we don't know how long he's going to be there. It was such a broken. I become to tears and cry every single day. I would drive there every other day to go to that place. Is like almost 2 hours from here. And they will tell me that you don't have to come every day because he's not going to adapt to stay here. So if you don't come, that's better. So I have to lie to my son. I said he's going to the camp, because we used to go to church. They do the youth camp, the little kids, they go. Then he asked me why his brother cannot come, why is only him. I say because he's older than you, they take him to another camp. So he have a right to call me all the time. And then they become to tell him if he acting good, they will let him call me 2 times. So he will make sure he act good and take his medicine, listen, so he can call me 2 times a week. And then I go there every other week. And the things become month after month after month. And then 1 year come. And then until he stayed there 7 years. He went there when he was 7. When the time they released him to come, he was 14. And I would go there and bring him the activities with the family, with the other kid. I keep it in the running. Like when we have to go to SeaWorld, I'll go and get permission. They will give that weekend for me. I will have him. And if we're doing something in the family, I will go and get him, bring him. So, and then always lie to him. Okay, you're going back to the school boarding, and then your brother is going to back to school boarding, only me and the sister in the house. Somehow, somewhat, the brothers become emotional because he's not there. They cry. They want him to come home, and become very hard. And my interact with the community, it is kind of like people rejected you because of the things that are happening in your life, and they don't know. You can explain to everybody. Their father left, and he just left, leave us. So I have to suffer with this child for all these years. And the doctors keeping telling me that he's not gonna do this, he will never become this. It was just kind of like very broken, but I still have my faith, that believing that he is going to be okay. And they tell me that to the point he can drive, he can walk, because his brain thinking backward. He has almost like a schizophrenia mixed up, but it's not that strong. So he ended up only with diagnosed with a bipolar, but it was very strong on him. Sometimes he will cry, he will blame me that I don't like him. I send him away. It has become very hard for me how to even to explain to him. And then I have to go to class through the Blue Bonnet. They have to offer class for me to go and sit in this class and to learn about the bipolar. So I did take the class for bipolar. And when I become to have a study and knowledge of bipolar, I feel sorry for my son. For the time was whooping him, was putting him in timeout, taking his toy. It is not something that he's doing it intentionally, but it's something that, coming out of control, he can control it. He's just a child. It's become very hard on me. That took me all the way down again. I become to condemn myself. My low self-esteem become very strong because I feel guilt. And because of this guilt, it is just like no peace anymore. I can go back and I can leave my son here. And if I take him home, I will never find the help that he's supposed to get. His father want to go home, and then the school district have to write a letter. So they have to put his passport. He can't take this kid out of country, because one time he tried to run with him away. So they have to bring them to the airport. So his name was using to be his picture used to be in the airport all over. He can't take this child because of this condition. So until everything become to cool down by the age of 9, he become to really adapted the place and he like it because they put him in a lot of activities and he become to know some big brothers there and he become to really have fun. So we will take a family day where we'll go there, we stay all day. We will sleep in the hotel, take him to the place of fans and all this stuff, and we'll take him back there. And just we keep telling him, you in the boarding school until he get to his mind, he's in the boarding school. So they will send his grade to me anytime, and I will go there until this. When he become 10, then they become to allow him to bring him to the school, middle school. Then the teachers was always cooperate with me. The principal was cooperate with me. All the people at the school, even the people that in the kitchen, because they see how the boys suffer. So they become to cooperate with me. And the principal until today, she is still calling me and checking on them sometimes. All the summer, check. Yeah, so finally we get some relief, and then I go to Blue Bonnet once a month with him, and he will have activities, and then other kids are there. He become to get to environment. Okay, I'm going to handle this because this is my problem now, and it's not become a problem because there is other people just like me, and then it become to help me actually to become free from myself, that my son is adapted this thing, he's taking his medicine, he's coming to himself, and he become a normal person. He don't hit, he don't put walls in the house, he don't burn the stuff, he's not hurting himself. So for me, it become a bigger thing. So I call my mom back home and my family, everybody's crying, bring him home, I just like so many voices in my head, everybody bring him home, you're going to hurt this child, all this stuff. I said, well, I'm not going to hurt him. I try to get the help. They say, well, this is a voodoo thing, you have to bring him because his grandfather from the father side, that man, he was a big man doing the witchcraft. So is a witchcraft stuff, I have to bring him. I don't believe it because I read it and I understand this is a mentally issue that I have to be dealing with. So he become normal. Sometime he will cry, he will tell me, Mom, I just saw that I hurt you today. I don't know why I hurt you like that. And the other brother, older brother, will think that he wants to become like his father because their father was abusive to me. So he will get angry at him, try to hit him. I say, he want to be like that? I said, no. He got some issue. Until today, he is 27, 28. He is not really adapting his brother that much because of what he sees he was doing it to me. So he sees him like a father that was abusive to me. But this is a brother that is sick, he don't get along with him. Always he bring it the past, you did this to mom and you've been bad kid and all this stuff. And I tell him, your brother is sick. He said, I don't care how sick he is. He learned from his dad because he's the one actually close to his father. The other one is not, but he's close to his father. So those problems become growing too big. And we come back home and he stayed there. His father never went and see him for these 7 years, never involved in his life for these 7 years. And finally, when he became 14, somehow he come find his father. And then connected with him. And all over again, he's telling him that you can't take the medicine. Your mom tried to make you crazy. You're not crazy. And then he went to his father one day. He took all the medicine, flushed it all in the toilet. And then we have to start all over again. The Blue Bonnet the doctor that they have to suffer with us. And again, we have to take him back there until when he finished, get back to his place. Then they bring him here when he become in high school. So one thing that I'm thankful today, if my son have to be in Africa, I don't know what will happen to him at that age, because there is no awareness of this mental health that he come with it. One other thing that our culture as South Sudanese people, we have, there is a good man and there is a man that will always be abusive to their mother and their wife. So I don't think those problem, it is not bring it to awareness. And because they have a shame, they don't want the name, they don't want people to look down on them, and they kind of like hiding everything. And even if your child is acting up, you're not supposed to expose to other people, this child is a bad child or is doing something wrong. So the people expose it, put it down. As today I'm speaking, there is many South Sudanese children that are suffering from such a kind of illness. So the people take it as, oh, they just learn from school, they become to behave like this American kid and all this stuff. They put it in this kind of culture. You know, I say you guys have to check the kid, check to the doctor, check a child that's causing problem in a little age, because I went through this. So now God is using me actually to help a lot of families that have a children that have the same thing. So I have to tell my story to them. And now some of them take the children to the doctors, and some of them, their husband left them because they don't believe, just like me, but they kind of shut, they can come out. There is no awareness completely in South Sudanese mentally health with the children that we're having here. We have our children end up, a lot of South Sudanese children die last year. Many of them die suicidal. We don't know what happened, and they just angry. They become angry kid. They don't listen, and just like an anger and severe anger, that is not normal. That somebody need help. They don't talk about it. They kind of put it under the rug, and they try to hide it. They try to please the people. They don't want to expose like, oh, we have some issue, you know, their pride is taking over. Those are the major problem we have today. We have a man that come from, you know, they will come here from South Sudan. They sounds like okay, but it's really they're struggling emotionally because there is some illness, the mental illness is there, but nobody discovered. They end up killing their wife, and some of them in jail because they're hitting their wife so badly. It's just kind of like very destructive without awareness in this society. So after my going back to Sudan in 2014 to visit for the first time, long time. So I went over there, I become to see people in the street. Those people in the street, they actually become mentally because of the war. Some of them are doctors, some of them are very educated, they lost everything. They become like they have tormented, so they don't know what happened. That's what I traveled to Uganda to go there. Some people, they're very educated, but they lose it together. They become to have a mentally problem because of what they lost from the war. So mentally awareness have to come to our place so people can talk about it out. People can be free to see the doctor so can get help. They just have to go to like, I will say that good for them to go to classes and learn about this different mental health, because I learn about I learn about schizophrenia and this bipolar, HAD. And actually there is a doctor, he said that his sister was bipolar, and after going through the medical, and now he's become a normal person, you know, marriage, have a children and all this stuff. They continue taking their medicine. And this the same thing happening with my son now. When he became 18, his father come for his graduation, excuse me. So he put it in his head. He said, your mother don't like you, and your mother just hated you, and you don't have to take the medicine. And from that day, he stopped taking the medicine. And to the point, even he tell my son, I am not his mother, I am adopted mother. You know, I think he's sick too, because nobody discover or don't know what is wrong with him. So my son become to tell the police, I'm not his mother, I'm the adopted mother. His dad tell him that because I'm making him always going to these people, talking to him like something is wrong with him when there is nothing wrong with him. And when they go to the record and they know, so they just said, okay, they find the record that he really need help. Yeah, so today he's a child that been changed, even though he don't take medicine, but he managed his anger now. I learned so much, like you can't just talk to them any kind of way. You have to be very soft, very nice. The more you raise your voice, the more they take it offense to fight back. So I learned so much stuff through the Blue Bonnet because of this condition. And then sometimes, you know, you just have to watch. You don't have to say anything. You just agree with them, and then they will come down to themselves. When you disagree, it become big thing. And not everything that you have to disagree, you have to agree with them. There is some stuff I don't agree, but I just let them know this can harm you, this can do that. So then now my relationship with him is become very strong. He become a child that very close to me. Everybody has left the house. He don't go nowhere. He stay here. He go to work. He come and he cook and he clean, and he just become like normal person. But you can tell sometimes those things will come. He will shut down. He will not talk. And he shut down. I just let him alone. Yeah. So he used to have somebody will come from Blue Bonnet to come and counsel him, talk with him. and he refused to sign the papers for them to continue helping him. So right now is he's doing very well, but it's just harder that he can keep the job because of his
Mhm.
condition. He feel like nobody can tell him anything. He know it. Go to work. He take his own break time, and he don't follow the rules like that because he's not in the medicine and he's not going to seek this counseling. And he's growing right now. I tell him, if you want a good life, you have to go back and go. If you don't want the medicine, somebody can just talk with you to walk you through your emotions. Sometimes
Right.
he feel like he want it. He will tell me that I really want to go there. And then he'll go there and they'll find somebody, they'll talk with him, and then he'll be okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's the bigger thing that in our society, for South Sudanese mothers, they're suffering because they have these children have a mental issue, and when they have mental issue, it's become a problem for family. The father will say, "Oh, this is your child," because they now mentally they don't like this child. They like
Right. Right.
hide the child out of these other children, and then the child like, why my dad don't like me. It's just kind of like a lot of brokenness, especially for the African South Sudanese woman. Is such an
Mhm.
emotion breakdown. You find out these women are depressed. You find out that these women are emotion, and even some women end up killing themselves because of the issue that going in the house with the husband concerning the child that is sick and not seeking their hospital or doctor for such a kind of behavior.
Mhm.
So
One of the things, and I'm sorry, because I know there's going to be many people who's going to ask you certain questions. But you said a few things. You explained about your culture. You talked about some of your challenges, and I like the part where you talked about the type of support that you needed. Uh, and I like the part where you was talking about how the local, the school, the staff, the resources that you needed, and all of these things came together. But I also like the fact that you talked about your own, you were very transparent about some of the things that you were dealing with as a parent. And so it's very clear that even though there were cultural differences, you saw that there was a need. You had the support that you needed. You recognized that you also had to have some support. But I like the fact when you went to the local authority, the Blue Bonnet, and you began to educate yourself about the disability itself. And so, and then I like the part where you're talking about the successes. So it tells us that there is hope in the midst of challenges, that there is hope. I like the fact when you talked about that this is an opportunity for you to continue to educate other families from the Sudanese community, because that is very important, especially now. Especially now. Um, what do you want to tell the families or the parents and the Sudanese immigrant community in Central Texas and the United States? And then once you answer that question, we're going to open up the floor to for those who would like to ask additional questions.
Sonia, there are questions in the chat.
Oh, okay.
okay. Yeah, I what I would say to all the South Sudanese and other immigrants is not only South Sudanese people have this. The other countries that come here, I believe they dealing with it. Because when I went to Blue Bonnet, there are some different cultures. I used to be in shelter too. When I live in shelter, I have a different people, even Chinese, their children have this issue. So I will tell these parents if they really want the success for their children, they have to seek the education concerning their mental health, and they have to find a community that where they bring the people together so they can talk with different mothers. They can see how they can help their children. That's what I used to do. I become to get experience for people that their children is already ahead of my child. They is struggling with the same thing. And it is okay to take the medicine when you're sick, because everybody sick will take medicine. Medicine is not a problem. When you don't take the medicine, it's become a problem, because this child may end up dying in the room, killing themselves and doing some bizarre. So many of these children, this weekend, I have to speak with a child that almost want to take her life, only 14 years old. And she said the people was telling her that she is sick in the mind. She's not. After I talked to her, explain and become to hear her heart, she was just emotionally broke down and shame, because people does not like for her to come. She don't have friends because of her behavior, the character. So if our people, all the immigrant in American, whatever, that they come here, they become American citizen, it is good to seek the doctors and to seek the help and to talk this stuff out, because with them talking out is a part of the healing. You keep it inside, you just pressing yourself down, because the emotionally you're dying inside. You look okay, but inside you're a dead man, dead woman walking. So you cover because of the pride. Some people take a pride. I don't want people to know that I have this child. I will tell them that it's okay to overcome their pride, to humble ourselves, to say, yes, I have a problem, to admit, take responsibility of what is going wrong, so this child can get help. It is not me as a child. I want to see my child to become the best. So I'm going to do any offer that can offer me to go and do what I'm supposed to do. So I would think the urgency for them to come to awareness, yes, there is a mental health, these children need help, and they have to seek the help for it.
Um, and we're almost running out of time, but I'm going to go for a few other questions. Just real quickly, what specific support do you have for yourself in your own mental wellness? Just real quickly, because we have some other questions.
Okay. For myself, the things that really turn me back is my beliefs in God, that heal me actually from inside. I come to find out the Word of God is truly medicine to my heart, because I can condemn myself, because I know that God loved me unconditionally. I grew up in church, but I grew up religiously. I was not a believer, having a spirit not living in me. So those things helped me here in America. When I become a believer, I become to take the word of God. I don't let other people, pull me down. I become courage with the word of God that, I'm wonderful man. I can't beat myself down because of other people, or because my son have an issue now. So those help me a lot. Even the doctor tell me what he did to your blood pressure. When they go there, my blood pressure is down. Everything has become down in myself. So I overcome and I accept it. Yes, we have issue, and this issue, 1, 2, 3, have to be healed, and we're going to overcome, and one day we'll be okay. So that's how I come out of it. And the bigger thing that my church was one of the bigger part. My spiritual father is stand up with me and helping me, because I'm foreigners, he need help, and he was in this meeting with me all through. I was never left alone. Everybody was with me, even those my own community, they're never there, but the husband is not there, because for them it's kind of strange. This child is
Right.
not, don't listen. But all the American brothers stand up with me to support this child, because they know better. I don't know, they become to educate me to this point, to get over myself, and if actually to look better, to be happy. I used to have so many problems, the blood pressure medicine is high and all this stuff. But after I come to
Right.
myself and to agree with what I can fix it, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let God do it. And finally, it works for me. Yeah, spiritual
Awesome.
works for me. Yeah.
Awesome. So you talked about your spiritual support, you talked about your social support and how
Yeah.
important those things are. There's another question. Um, the question is tell us what providers can do when there is cultural and language gaps, especially regarding mental health. And again, we're running out a little bit of time, but can you tell us what the providers can do when there's cultural and language barriers in regards to mental health?
Okay, that is good, because when I come, there is no people translate my language here that long time ago. But now we have many people that are educated, they can translate. Like I can offer to help, to help the city if they have somebody like that need to speak in my language. I speak 5 different languages. I can see what language is speaking, so I can help them out. And
Right.
that's the only way. And then to explain to them. And with my situation, it's going to be easy because I actually live what I'm talking about. It's not something that I read, but I have
Mm.
experience because I live it. And it's not easy to live with a child that is mentally, it's not easy because you just don't know. Yeah. And then the other thing helped me because I write my story, all these pains, anytime I'm journal. So I write it down. Even the problem of my child, I end up publishing my testimony. So I have those some of this testimony, the school district, all this stuff. I have it here with the pictures of principal that helped me to overcome that stuff in me. Yeah.
Mhm. It's good that you have kind of like a strategies and ways that you worked with not only the school district, your son, and then yourself, and then the support that you needed in order to provide that circle of support. And that circle of support is very, very important. Uh, there was a comment, and I just want to share about this. And we can all agree that you are a courageous woman coming and talking about your life and experiences here in the United States, but also some of the challenges that you had with your family. I mean, you've even talked a little bit about your relationship and your divorce and how the culture, don't accept about mental health. And so they were talking about, or the comment is that they said, for fighting for your son, for fighting for your son, um, bringing those things that were so important to you. And then ongoing, helping your son in certain areas, keeping him supported as a mother, to support him in his own journey. And so that's very encouraging to see. And I believe that was majority of the questions that we have. There was one other question. Talk a little bit about your ministry before we begin to end and do our closeout.
Yeah. I The Broken Heart Ministry, I really don't know that I called to this. And I was going to my church. I just going to be a normal person. And then I become to see visions. And the first scripture that get healed me, it was the book of First Samuel, chapter 2, about Hannah, when she asked for the Lord to give her the baby because the womb was not open to have a baby. And I was crying all night. And one day I wake up 3 in the morning and I opened right there. And when I start reading, and I become to hear this voice is speaking in my heart that Hannah never see her son only once a year. And then look at you, you go there every week or every month and you can call your son in the phone. Hannah never have phone to call her son. So who is a better than each other? So I said, it is me. I become to speak to myself, hear these voices. So I hear the voice of the spirit become to speak to me. And then I see visions like live visions. One of them is this my vision up here for the broken heart. Up here, people can see that one there. I saw that vision, so I draw it, and I hear that Isaiah 61. And I never know that Isaiah 61 is my deliverer. So I become to read the Isaiah 61, and everything I read in Isaiah 61, actually, he really matches me. And I went and speak with my spiritual father. He said, God is calling you to the ministry. I said, what does that mean? He said, you're going to be leading the broken heart people. So that time the Lord become to speak and heal my heart. I become to feel the embracing of healing. And now as I am speaking to you, I travel all over the world, not only United States. I just come day before yesterday. Every week I travel here in the United States to give my testimony, to encourage the people. Many families that is broken, they've been restored. Marriages that want to divorce, they come back together because I share my testimony. It is just the work of the enemy bringing the confusing. If we come to God, God will always heal our broken heart. So I thankful because this ministry later matched me with the things that I come and have a shock in America. You know, I even think once upon a time to take my own life so we can all be in peace. But I was broken. And being in shelter, I used to be in shelter. When I'm in shelter, it was completely different story. You know, shelter is a good place to be so you can learn and to overcome. But shelter without the Spirit of God sometimes can be dangerous. You learn some other stuff. So it was kind of like emotionally broke down. But I thank God that I overcome today. And now today I can be speaking openly. I don't have no shame, no game, because I know that I've been healed and I've been restored from my emotion, and I know how to handle this emotion. I can help somebody that is going through deeper through the ministry. That's what will help. I go to refugee camps in Africa. I go to different countries just to support women in their place of brokenness because of the issue of the marriage, and the husband don't agree because child is broken or something happened. They just leave this woman. So that's what I'm working in it right now. So today I have international broken heart healing and restoration ministries. I will speak to people. The Lord give me the business, and when I become to do the people here, they start telling me the problem, and then I end up praying with them, and then I end up sharing my heart, and they say, "Oh, your problem is bigger than me," and they become to overcome their little problems. I have people that doesn't talk to their family for years. They curse their family up, and then they come to me, we talk, and the Spirit of God just lead for them to come and make reconciliation. Many people, they give their life to Jesus Christ because of the broken heart ministries. And I let them know the English I'm speaking is never that I studied the school. God, I prayed and I asked God to give me the language. I come to a country that I never know the language. And I say, if you can give me a little English. So I end up speaking English. And when I come to know English, even I find out that nobody talk about me because I was just emotionally, because I don't know the language. So now I flow in the English, I preach in the English, I read the English, never went to school to study English, only the Holy Spirit. But I did went to business school after I already know English. I went to beauty school after I know English. So those stuff I'm doing later, but the English that I started speaking, I never went to anybody's school. God have teach me how to speak the English. I used to watch opera, and I used to watch, listen to her, and then learn a little bit. But today I'm thankful, I'm grateful because God give me a ministry that can heal. Some people like me can overcome. Some people that in area of brokenness, even the mentally people, they feel like easier to attach to me for some reason. They like to talk to me, and then I'll talk with them, share with them, and they'll feel like, it's easy to talk to you because I've been through what I have you going through. So I've been through. So today I'm thankful. And one thing that I really appreciate it, thank God for bringing me in America. Always I speak this to them as a testimony. I just don't know what I will be now, what I will do with my child if I'm in Africa. That's the one thing. And I'm thankful for this country. And, doesn't mean that I don't like my country. I love my home very much. And I would love to go and visit and stay there. But because now my children adapt here in this culture, they're born here, so we can go and visit. They still have to know where they come from. They know a little bit of my language, not much, but they understand. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful to everything, every friends. I come here, God connecting me with so beautiful people just like you, Pastor Sonia. Beautiful people, loving kind to other people, does not condemn you, does not look down on you like you're different. It's easy for me to mingle with everybody because God just put the spirit in me, and I thank God for that. So thank
I
you so much.
thank you. Yes, I thank you so much, Apostle Bona. I mean, it has been such a pleasure to have met you many years ago. And sometimes there is a connection, a divine connection that
Yeah.
is on purpose. And so on this day and this time, I just want to say just thank you so much for having this conversation with us. And again, she's from Broken Heart Ministries. Again, this is through this forum, is through the Central Texas African American Family Support Conference. This is the Together We Will Heal forum that is every month, the third Wednesday at 1:30. I had the opportunity just to reach out to Lucy Bona. She is a part, and I'm going to give my kudos out to the group that I'm a part of, which is the Iron Sharpen Iron for my sisters. I purposely asked Lucy Bona to be a person to come and talk about the mental health. And the Central Texas Conference is held every year in the month of February. And Lady Jane, you may help me remind me what day that is, but it is in the month of February. This is going to be the 22nd year of the conference. This again is around the mental health. the substance use disorder and intellectual and developmental disabilities. Right now, there are call for papers that's out. This call for papers are basically where you submit a proposal to speak about in an area of mental health or the other areas that I had just defined. If it's your life experiences, we want to know. We are a community of people, volunteers that come, that's a part of this conference. So again, submit your call for papers if you're interested in being a presenter. The website is CTAAFSC, which is the Central Texas African American Family Support Conference, and I believe it's .com. But again, we hope that you can become a part of our family. It's a virtual conference. Again, this is going to be the 22nd year of the conference, powerful conference. And I hope and I pray that you all can either be a part of it, virtual to participate, or you submit a call for papers. And again, we thank you for being here, and we appreciate all that had an interest in this Together We Will Heal forum. Is there anything else, Lady Jane, before we sign off?
No, but I would like to thank Pastor Lucy for her transparency. Thank you very much. Very powerful story.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you.
Again, we thank you, Lucy, Apostle Lucy, and we thank everybody else for your involvement, your interest. And again, come back next month, the third Wednesday at 1:30 again for the Together We Will Heal forum. Take care, everybody.
Okay, thank you.